between the engineering colleges and the e-governance projects, ma'am, please.
Guests of honor on the dais, senior officers from Government of India, National Informatics Center, and professors from academia and industry members. It's my privilege to present to you very briefly on the role of technology and technology-enabled governance and public services, and how industry members are contributing to this, and what we see as the role of academia in really taking technology as a core of delivering public services currently and in the future. So I represent NASSCOM, which is essentially the industry body. When you talk about industry, IT industry in India, broadly we span the service portfolio in 4 sectors, which is IT services, business process management, engineering and R&D, which includes things like embedded systems, software products, and internet and e-commerce. So why I am spending a little time on this? Because each of this have occupations in technology, role definitions in technology, which also have relevance, which academia can help and contribute in building capacity in the country. Broadly, if you look at IT services, there is application development, infrastructure outsourcing, integration of various technologies to deliver an end outcome to a customer or a government department, software testing, product development, that is custom product development, and IT strategy and consulting. In business process management, it's basically setting up citizen service centers, customer support, transaction processing, where an entire transaction can be outsourced to a private player, knowledge and legal services, data management, and most importantly, analytics. When it comes to engineering and R&D, there's a whole lot of work around embedded design. Particularly, Government of India is now having a lot of focus on local manufacturing in electronics, where there's a lot of role for embedded design and R&D and product engineering. Similarly, when it comes to software products, there is enterprise solutions. And when you look at internet e-commerce, there's a whole lot of how social media can be leveraged for public services, or citizen outreach. There's e-commerce platforms. The best example would be something like IRCTC, which completely transformed the way railway booking happens for any common man in India. And similarly, content and search in Indian languages so that citizens are actually able to get the right information. These are broadly the services, the way the IT services span out across these verticals, where all of them have relevance to government. When we talk about technology-enabled governance and public services, essentially government is trying to leverage technology to do 3 things. One is improve internal efficiency. So when you look at taxation projects, income tax projects, revenue projects, they're essentially projects to improve internal efficiency. Then increase reach, how information and services can be reached. For example, how technology can be leveraged to reach education and health services. How technology can be used to leverage, to reach banking services through the financial inclusion program. So it's all about increasing reach to the last mile. And the third one is how do you provide better services so that there is a single window permission systems for government to business interactions, government to citizen interactions. How do you ensure that right information is being delivered with the entire RTI kind of a project? So broadly, 3 things technology has a role: improving internal efficiency, increasing reach, and providing better services. So how industry has contributed, where we feel that academy can support both government and industry in filling the gaps. One is citizen services projects, the entire integrated portals, where you look at projects like KP Online, other integrated projects that have happened in central government. Complex network backbone core infrastructures, the projects like state guided networks, state data centers. We have also, our industry members have contributed in back-end department level contribution, computerization in all the tax departments, both direct and indirect taxes. Data digitization and migration from manual to e-enabled systems. Development of IT strategy and blueprint both at a state and a ministry level and supporting Government of India's National E-Governance Program. Development of collaborative groupware applications for document management, file management, and IT infrastructure management projects like state wide area networks, which our industry has been supporting various state governments, and assisting in vertical and horizontal integration of departments, where a single window system can be given both to citizens and to businesses. And of course, supporting government and state governments and organizations like NIC in skills and capacity building, and of course, execution of roadmaps. So when you look at all of this, broadly there are some occupations: application development, application deployment, data scientists. Data is a huge repository for government. You need that data scientist discipline to be able to really leverage data for government's forecasting. Things like climate, weather systems. You really need scientists who are able to build those forecasting and prediction systems. I'm not talking about run-of-the-mill application development projects here. IT support services, infrastructure management services, information security, testing, quality assurance. Just to give you an idea, if there is, I'll just take a couple of occupations in IT which have tremendous importance in government. For example, if you look at information security, that's an occupation, that's a skills domain. When you look at roles, there are IT forensics, there is application security, there is risk management, there is audit and compliance, there is business continuity planning and disaster recovery. Each of this, there is tremendous talent and skills gap in the marketplace. Government feels that gap, industry also feels that gap. Similarly, if you look at infrastructure management, there are things like network management, server management, field level support. So we believe in all of this. There are technologies and careers in e-governance which can be in industry, in line departments, in nodal agencies like National Informatics Center or state nodal agencies that are there, across the spectrum. Increasingly, we are seeing government, as Dr. Rajendra Kumar and also Dr. Moni talked about it. There are technologies like biometrics, RFID, GIS, cloud, CCTV and surveillance, which is a huge project in Ministry of Home. These are some of the technologies that are getting deployed. And there are career growth paths in eGov, both in the government domain and in the industry. Where we believe in academia can collaborate both with industry and government is building the talent and skills shortage in both industry and government. Also at society, because the end user of e-governance needs to be digitally literate to get onto the portal and consume the service that a government department is offering to the citizens. Similarly, developing curriculum for students, curriculum in e-gov for various levels in government. I think organizations like NIS, GS, and universities have developed rich courses. I think there is necessary for courses for end users, for entry level, for senior project managers, senior mission mode leaders, change management initiatives. I think more than industry, academia will play a big role in handholding government in change management. Research and proof of concepts in emerging technologies like biometric authentication on mobile phones and GIS and RFID. These proof of concepts, centers of excellence are happening in very handful of premier academic institutions. I think something that we would like to submit to the audience here is how can you create a hub and spoke in this research effort so that there is a premier institution like an IIT or an IISc or an NIT coming as a hub research organization which has tier 1, tier 2 engineering colleges coming up as a spokes so that there is a collaborative research project which government can benefit from and industry can also benefit from. And I think academia can also play a huge role in impact assessment on e-governance projects. Already some academic institutions are doing, but how can you do third-party impact assessment? I think academia can be a neutral party who can bring that expertise in doing third-party assessment so that both what government is doing and industry can be doing is actually evaluated by a third party so that future public service delivery can be. So broadly, this is what you can always reach out to me. I am Rama at nascom.in and I will be happy to share any more perspectives.